Okay. Right. Oh, here we go again. As usual, let's do my routine checks. Let's see if everything's working. The stream is in excellent condition. Lovely. Um, I've also moved where I've been putting my chat, so that's gonna be fun because I need to remember that that's there now. Chat is working. If you're in chat, say hi, as usual. Oh, this stream is gonna it's, that this is gonna be something. I'll tell you, this is gonna be something. I wanted I wanted this stream to be quite like celebratory because obviously we're dawning a new series which I'll get onto um but considering the context I'm gonna try and keep in high spirits. As you can tell, I'm talking through gritted teeth. Um, and yeah, we'll get into this in a second. But I just kind of want to muse a little bit. Um, yeah, it's just very upsetting because I kind of set this. I had this idea in my head of this being quite a positive stream and being quite, oh look, we're doing something new, but now it's completely going to be the opposite. And whilst I do have some positive things to say, which is surprising considering, I am going to be mainly kind of ragging this this game. Oh, uh, being a Chelsea fan nowadays is like working in a recycling can factory, and by that I mean it's so depressing. Um, as you can tell with that awful joke, I'm having to crack wise, or I'm going to probably have a mental breakdown. But before that happens, before we have the mental breakdown, I'm going to hit the intro. Obviously, with the new series, I have new intros. If the audio doesn't work, I'm going to cry. I hope it works, so let's give it a go. Let's go.
Lads, lasses, and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC, and welcome to Feeling Blue.
Hopefully that worked. I think we're here. Did it work? I can hear it in my ears, obviously, because it's on desktop. I don't know if you guys can hear it because I don't know if it's monitored. But yes, welcome. Here we go. Let's just get through the intro. Lads, lasses, masses, welcome to Feeling Blue, the series in which we go through previous Chelsea matches, we give our thoughts and feelings on what just happened, putting them into these three neatly organised boxes from good feelings to bad feelings. And then at the end we'll crown who we believe was the true blue of this game in their special little box in this top right hand corner. Now let's address the elephant in the room. GBU is gone permanently. Now, for you guys, that might not seem like too big a deal. GBU, the good, the bad, and the ugly, hasn't been around for more than about 6 months. But for me personally, GBU was a series that I was doing on this channel since 2020, when I first made this channel. It's been a staple of my content since before I had more than 3 subscribers and was barely scraping 10 views on the channel. So it's sad to see it go, honestly, and though this new format is basically the exact same thing, it still hurts my heart a little bit. So let's talk about that new format and talk about Chelsea versus Liverpool. Specifically for this series, this is going to be less like ragtag than the last one. I'm going to stick to 7 things. 7 is my lucky number, so I'm going to stick to specifically 7 things for each episode. So if I don't mention something that you thought was noteworthy for this game, then leave it in the comment sections or in chat. And if it is in the comments, I might pin your comment if I agree with it. As I said, we'll be voting on who we believe together was the true blue of this game, which we'll decide with a poll later in the stream. Obviously, with more positive results, that would be a good thing and a good kind of discussion to have, but I think it's pretty obvious that there's only maybe 1 or 2 games, one or 2 players that actually deserve to have that title. Let's start with one of them, because we'll start with the goods. As always, like in the old series, I'll go from goods, we'll go over to the right, and then we'll finish on the goods if we can. Unfortunately, despite us, we have 7 things, and I have more bads than goods, so we're probably going to finish on a bad. Let's start with the first player that's going into the good box, and I think everyone knows that it's going to be Christopher Nkunku. If I can find him, here he is. Christopher Nkunku, because to be quite honest, not again, like I said before, whenever anyone gets a goal contribution, they're always going to go into this box. That's just how it works. But not only that, but because he might genuinely be the only player in the squad that has a footballing brain, and might be the only player in the squad that can actually play football and not trip over their feet. And some of those players in our team that have that quality about them don't have it anymore, because I think they have been infected by certain things, which we'll talk about later. Nkunku is not one of them, because he hasn't had the time to train with the team to get that disease, and he has been every time he gets on the pitch for us, he's scored on both of his substitute appearances that he's come on, I believe, with a significant enough amount of time anyway. And it's sad for him, because he scored 2 goals, which is more than a lot of strikers in the Premier League, actually, and he can't celebrate either of them, which is pretty upsetting, because he always scores in games where it doesn't matter if he scores anymore, because he doesn't ever get given enough time, and hopefully he will get over his injury issues now. Obviously this was a new injury issue. I think he had a problem with his hip rather than his knee, so good to see him back on the pitch, and a really, really well taken goal, really technical. We haven't seen a finish of that quality and that kind of composure in the box since I think we had that run with Diego Costa as our striker. We've never seen that level of composure in the box, and it's really good to see. And hopefully, as I said, hopefully he can stay fit and actually play in his actual position, and we can kind of crack on from there. Let's move into the first bad, because we don't actually have anything in the medium box. This is a very polarizing game, and the only things that I have are goods and bad. So let's go to the first bad. And I'm going to rip the band-aid here off, because I know some people are going to keep defending this guy, and I just can't do it. I can't defend it. It's Pochettino. I just can't defend this guy anymore. Every single time that we think that we're getting some momentum against terrible teams, we face a half-decent side or a semi-decent side or a good side in Liverpool and just fall flat on our face. And it's always because of his tactical setups, and it's just infuriating to me. And maybe there is an argument of us putting him into the medium box here, because the substitutions he made were impactful this game. I will say that. However, he wouldn't have to make those impactful substitutions if he just set our team up good in the first place. There's been a meme on this channel of the giant hole in midfield, which we saw once again. And yes, I do have the bingo card, but not enough things kind of got checked off for me to really bother going through that, so I'm not going to. That one is one of them. We're just seeing, again, Caicedo completely isolated on his own. Enzo pushing up way too high. We have this weird system of us playing a high line against Liverpool, which is always going to be a danger, especially when you have 2 centre-backs that are very, very slow in Disasi and Thiago Silva. Especially when we have a player in Chilwell who is going to run up the pitch and not offer defensive support. And we also have Sterling on that same side, who is also not going to offer defensive support. It was just baffling, and we never got out of the blocks because we were set up so poorly that we never even had a chance, and quite honestly. And I've said this before, I'm perfectly fine with giving Pochettino until the end of the season, but if he is still here by next season, then this club and these owners are just completely out of their depth. They have no clue what they are doing, because he's not shown us anything. Even if we win that EFL Cup final against Liverpool, there is no way that he needs to stay. Absolutely no way. Like, that would be the one thing that he could do that would give me a slight hint of him staying, but there is no way. There is absolutely no way that he could be here next season. I would personally, what I would do now, before that cup final, because I don't think he's going to win the cup final, if I'm being honest, considering how outclassed he just got, I would personally hire Mourinho as an interim until the end of the season, try and win that cup, because Mourinho can win cup finals, we've seen it before, and then get in a new manager for the summer. That was what I would do if I was in charge. Obviously, I'm not in charge, and the people that are in charge are absolute clowns, but I'm not going to talk about that too much. Speaking of someone who is not a clown and is someone who is a very, very good footballer, let's go back into the goods. And I'm going to be giving another good box to, again, one of the only players that actually ever turns up in our games nowadays, and that's for one of the goalkeepers, and you know who it is. It is Georgi Petrovic. Once again, just making save after save and keeping us in this game. This could have genuinely been about 9, maybe even into double figures if Petrovic isn't on the pitch. He's just saves us, and I feel so bad for him, because not only is he an absolute bargain, like we've talked about before, I've said all of this before, I love Georgie, I love how he works, I love how he calms things down. He has been let down time and time and time again by this horrific defence, And that leads me straight into the next point, which will be for the bads. I'm actually going to move Pochettino over here. And that is just for the defence as a whole. I don't think a single defensive player on this team today had a good performance. Maybe you could argue that Gusto off the bench had a half-decent performance. Everyone else was absolutely woeful. Badiashile, despite looking like one of the best centre-backs in the league last year, has now turned into cottage cheese. Chilwell isn't even a defender at this point. I genuinely can't see him as a footballer that is Chelsea level. And the fact that he is captaining this team is an absolute disgrace. I would strip him of that vice captaincy immediately and give it to someone who is more deserving, like a Thiago Silva. Or hell, even Enzo. I would give Enzo the captaincy because at least he actually seems like he cares. You know what I mean? Chilwell doesn't track back. He doesn't care. He's making silly fouls. He's giving the ball away every 5 seconds. It's just embarrassing now. And obviously with this stupid thing that we've had to contend with, yes, we do have injuries, but the fact that we are playing Disasi as a right back is just completely nonsensical to me. If we do not have fullbacks, we should immediately switch to a 3 at the back system and play wingers or wing backs in those roles. We should not be playing a 6'4" slow centre back as a right back. It's just embarrassing. We got embarrassed in this game, and it's just, we looked like schoolboys. It looked absolute schoolboys. In fact, that would actually genuinely be a disservice. I can go down my local park, which is about a 10-minute walk from my house, and I can see defending better than we saw in this game. I genuinely can. I can go down there, see my local Sunday League team, and I can see them. And I genuinely sit here watching the game, and I'm just like, what does he do in training? What are they teaching these people? Do they genuinely just do work on fitness drills and nothing else? Because we have no organisation at the back. We have no organisation at corners or set pieces. We lose our men all the time. We make silly mistakes playing out from the back. It's just crazy. I genuinely don't see there being any tactical pattern, especially in the defence. And it's just boring. It's boring. Every single game we come up against a half-decent team, this happens. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of him getting Pochettino as well, getting redemption for winning very, very meaningless games against clubs like Luton and beating teams like Middlesbrough in the cup. Like, it just annoys me because it's like we always go face a good team and then just get absolutely battered. And we used to have a very, very good defence with the same players, or relatively the same players, when we had Thomas Tuchel in charge. When we had Mourinho at the club, we had a very good defence. Chelsea has always been built off of the foundation of having a good defence. It's why we hold that record for 15 goals conceded in a single season, being the lowest amount in the entirety of the Premier League. It's the reason why we have been built on being pragmatic, and now we're just open. We're just so open to every attack. And again, that is partly due to the tactical naivety of Pochettino playing this high line against Liverpool. You don't play a high line against Liverpool because the one thing they're really, really good at, Liverpool, is that they're fantastic at playing the ball in behind with very accurate passes and very, very good at running in behind with loads of pace. That's the one thing they have, is they've always had that really quick front three. And we saw it in this game, and they just ripped us to shreds. Every single time they got the ball, they played a long pass up through to Nunez, and he was so confident against this back line because we were so terrible. He was taking shots from 30 yards. This Darwin Nunez, who has been one of the kind of more inconsistent strikers in the league in the last 2 seasons, admittedly much improved this season, I must say, but he's just having pot shots because he just knows that the defence isn't going to stop him. He doesn't care. He's like, oh well, I might as well have a shot. It's almost like we have Kepa back in goal. Every single player under the sun just decided, oh, we'll shoot from 30 yards because Kepa is in goal. It felt the exact same way. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's move on to the final positive. And this is a dual thing, not just because I think he played well, but just seeing him on the pitch again and seeing him moving well is really pleasing to me. And that's for Carney Chukwuemeka, if I can find where I put him. Here we are. Carney Chukwuemeka obviously getting the assist for Nkunku's goal and genuinely looking a far better midfielder than Gallagher ever will. I don't actually know who was captain second half. I didn't actually see the armband get swapped. I'm not sure. But yes, I will be giving the final good of this video to Carney Chukwuemeka just because A, it's really good to see him on the pitch. B, his link-up play with Nkunku for the assist was very, very, very good. And it's just like, hopefully he is the shining hope. These two are the shining hope that we have, that maybe, just maybe, we can actually form a single coherent attack during a game. I can't fathom how we've gone from that incredible patch of form in pre-season and at the start of the season to Nkunku and Chukwuemeka getting injured and just turning into cottage cheese. We've just turned into, we're not even cottage cheese. At least cottage cheese has substance. We don't have substance anymore. We're like a gas. We don't have anything. We're you know what we are? We are just a big cloud of methane gas. We are just a giant fart, basically. That is our team. That is what we are now. And it's embarrassing. And it's genuinely, it's just, I'm sitting here after every game thinking, do I even want to watch the next game? I'm sitting here at half time thinking, do I want to just turn my TV off and not watch the other half? And I feel obligated to watch us now. It doesn't feel like I'm doing it because I want to. It feels like I'm obligated to do it because it's for this channel. I have to. And it's just sad. I used to wake up and be like so excited to watch my team play, and I still do. I'm so excited to watch our team play, and I was so excited today to see our team play, and then we just get let down. And it's just so disappointing. But hopefully, with Carney and Nkunku coming back from injury, Gusto coming back from injury, hopefully we can make something of this. Obviously, Nicholas Jackson coming back from AFCON is going to be a massive thing too. He couldn't play today because the Senegalese coach was keeping the entire team together so they could fly back together. So he couldn't make the bench. Our transfer window, thoughts on our transfer window? That's a good point. Terrible. The fact that we have still not got a striker is embarrassing and quite frankly stupid. The fact that we were even linked with someone like John Duran is even more baffling. And if we do not get a solid striker in the summer, then I genuinely am just giving up on this board because they have no clue what they are doing. It should have been the first thing that we bought last summer and we didn't. And now we're kind of stuck here with inexperienced forwards that don't really know what they're doing. As I said, I'm so looking forward to Jackson coming back, and I don't know why. I know maybe it's because he's possibly leaving. I've seen obviously reports on Fulham being interested in Broja, but the fact that Broja didn't touch the pitch today is an absolute joke. And this goes back to Pochettino's tactical naivety of us playing long balls up to the striker when the only player we have up the pitch is Raheem Sterling, who is about 5'6". It's just completely nonsensical. And speaking of Raheem Sterling, let's move on to the next thing which I'm going to talk about, and that's for the usual suspects. And you guys know who the usual suspects are: Gallagher and Sterling. Every single game, it's just every single attack we have, it breaks down when it gets to one of these two. They have absolutely no technical ability. They have no vision in front of them. They have no attacking intelligence. It's just silly. The fact that Sterling stayed on the pitch the entire 90 is an absolute joke. Genuinely absolute joke. Why Noni Madueke came off when he was actually trying to do something, at least he was actually holding on to the ball, I don't know. Why Conor Gallagher is forced into this damn team every single week, I don't know, because he doesn't have any technical ability. He is fantastic off the ball. I will always give him credit where it is due. Conor Gallagher is an incredible player off the ball. On the ball, he has no talent in his entire legs. Like he just internally implodes as soon as the ball gets to him. And I'm sitting there screaming, and it's why it's one of the things on the bingo card is that one of the things on the bingo card, and it's always a staple of the bingo card, is Gallagher ruins a transition, because it happens every single game. So we have a promising attack and then he just doesn't get his head up and he passes the ball backwards, or he doesn't see Chilwell making a run in space over on the left hand side and passes it to the right. And it's just, these things happen all the time with both of these two. Again, again, maybe it's just a matter of the tactical issues that we're having impacting the players, because obviously we know Raheem Sterling is past his prime, but he is still a good player. Raheem Sterling has been a good player for the longest time, and under Pep, he was one of Man City's best ever wingers. That's just true. That's the truth. The numbers speak for themselves. But now he just doesn't seem to be able to do anything right, and it's just, I don't understand why we're playing him over a promising youngster like Noni Madueke, who actually impacts the game every time he touches the ball. At least one thing is that when he gets the ball, he actually keeps the ball and can commit a player or two. At least that happens. But when Sterling gets the ball, it just bounces off him, or he just passes it the wrong way. And it's just, I'm sick of seeing it every single week. We haven't seen a single lineup without those two in it. I don't think we've seen it the entire season. I would, as I said, I'm only going to be sticking to 7 points. There are other players that could be mentioned here. I've just seen someone in chat mention Mudryk. Mudryk was absolutely woeful in this game, but I won't get into it. And finally, the reason why I've kind of said all of this and shown how terrible we were, and explained myself of how I think that we are going backwards tactically is because the number one thing that I think needs to go into this bad box, and you know what I'm going to put here, is the referees. And the reason why I said all that as the preamble is because I don't want people thinking that I'm making excuses for our loss. We were not good enough today. I can go on record and say we were not good enough today, but the officiating in this game was downright corrupt. I have never seen officiating as poor as this genuinely since Barca 09. I do not think there has been a game that has been as poor as this from a biased standpoint than that game. 2 clear penalties denied, a penalty which is very arguable on their side, a goal not disallowed for just genuinely Jota just wrestling one of our players to the floor. It's absolutely criminal. And the thing is, people always say like, oh, it doesn't matter if you got the 2 pens, it would still be 4-3 or whatever. People always like to say that, which is completely stupid. If we score the penalty, we get the goal, the first goal of this game, it changes the complexion of this game 100%. Completely changes the complexion of the game. It is not only is it just annoying because we didn't get the decisions, also booking Caicedo for being angry at him winning the ball cleanly is ridiculous. This referee, I think it was Paul Tierney. Are you Taylor in disguise? I was going to make an icon for Paul Tierney. I didn't get the chance to do it, so I don't actually have that. But yeah, it's just shocking because I can understand if you want to argue like, oh, the refs are incompetent, but this isn't a matter of incompetence because those 2 penalties that we weren't given are absolutely stonewall. Every single person can see that those were penalties. Every single person, unless they have some kind of bias, there is no way that any person watching that game will not look at that and say that is a penalty in the modern game. I saw on my Twitter feed, I saw Liverpool fans even saying, this is embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing. They should have had 2 pens. I've seen Liverpool fans even to saying how poor the officiating in this game was. And it is just upsetting because when you are a team like us that aren't the greatest, you need a little bit of luck, you know? You need a little bit of luck to get through games. And when you're getting the complete opposite of that and you're just getting shafted by the referees, it's just impossible. There was no way that we were turning up to this game and winning. Genuinely. As soon as we saw that first challenge, because I think the first one is more of a penalty than the second one, the first one that Van Dijk commits on Gallagher is an absolute stonewall. I have no clue how VAR has looked at that and not seen that that's a foul. I genuinely have no clue. And the fact they don't ever like, what they should do, and you know what I think that the Premier League should do, is when, you know that those videos that they release like 7 weeks after bad decisions happen, where they kind of try and use the audio to justify how the referees are making decisions, they should play that audio during games. They should play that audio out to the stadium, because until that happens, they are going to keep doing this because it is just a way of them to control games. And this is the thing, is that we were never going to win this game because of the narrative. We know that Liverpool are an extremely protected team. They always have been. Liverpool and Man United are always the Premier League's babies because they are the 2 original big teams in England. And as Archer has just said in chat, they know that Liverpool winning the league in Klopp's final season with the club is a big feel-good story that they can put in the media, and it is so obvious. It was so obvious. It's like, do they think we're stupid? It makes me feel insulted because they are so intent on insulting our intelligence and saying, oh, those aren't penalties, and just not bothering. It's so aggravating because I sit there as like, when is this going to end? When is these types of things going to end? Because we saw that making these petitions doesn't seem to work, but apparently complaining to the Pugmol or whatever you want to call them, complaining to them apparently works, because that's exactly what Klopp did when Paul Tierney had a bad game for Liverpool once, and now suddenly he's a goody little two-shoes. Every single decision goes their way in this game, and I genuinely believe that we kind of saw. Speaking of that Barca 09, we've heard interviews from that referee afterwards saying that he felt he was pressured and he felt that if he gave penalties in that Barca game, that he would have basically been attacked. And I genuinely think that that's exactly what Pochettino must have felt in this game, is that he must have been at least told or kind of issued a warning saying, well, if you give a penalty in this stadium, you know the fans are going to be on your back. You are going to get yelled at really badly, and it's going to be unsafe for you and possibly your family. We've seen what happened with Anthony Taylor back in that Roma game that one time. And I think genuinely he was just scared. And I think I can't remember who said it. I think was it Joe Cole? I think it was Joe Cole on one of the panels said that the referees, quote, weren't brave enough to give those decisions. And I think that's a perfect way of putting it, is that they are too scared to make the right calls in home stadiums. They just won't do it because they're too scared of the backlash that they could receive. And maybe that's a bigger discussion for another day, rather than just this game, but it's just frustrating because it's like, we never had a chance. Genuinely, we never had a chance of winning this game from the first time. Like, as soon as that decision happens, everyone on Twitter, everyone knew. Every single Chelsea fan saw that decision not go our way, and we were like, we're not winning this game. And that's another thing. It's not just with Chelsea as well. This is the thing which upsets me, because we see this in other games as well. We see it a lot in Chelsea games, because obviously I predominantly watch Chelsea games, but we do watch the other Premier League games, and it happens every single... I don't think there has ever been a game week in the Premier League where there has not been a wrong decision from either a major big name in the refereeing council or the VAR room. There has never been a single game week since it's been introduced that there hasn't been a mistake, and it's not the hardest thing, right? It's really not the hardest thing to fix, because I feel like the way that VAR should work and the way that it would be easier to work is you give the captains license to ask whether something gets reviewed or not, right? If they think that there is a decision that the referees got wrong, the captain can go up to the referee and say, no, I want you to check that. The referee goes over to the pitch side monitor, because they have those and they never use them for some reason. The referee should go over to the pitch side monitor, look at every single replay, and then make a decision. That's how VAR should work. It should not work as this kind of he say, she say way, where the VAR people kind of look at the screens and say to the referee what they think they see, rather than just giving the referee what they've seen. I don't understand why they have the pitch side monitor if they never use it. It's really frustrating. And the thing is, we've seen from those decisions that when the referees do go over to the monitors, every single decision where it does go over to the monitors, they always say to themselves, right, I've got that wrong, and they correct themselves because they can see it from a different angle. Obviously, too much pressure is put on referees to get decisions right, and even this is me saying this as a person that is yelling at the referees right now, I feel like their job is very, very hard to do. And I will admit that it's very hard to do. You can't see every angle as one person on the pitch, but the fact that they have the technology to assist them and they don't use it is frustrating. It's silly and nonsensical, and we are living in 2024, and this is not a thing that happens, and it's just so stupid. It's so stupid, because, like, this is the thing, is that we have modern football now. We have the semi-automatic offsides. Why are they not introduced? We have the every single angle under the sun in all Premier League stadiums except for maybe Kenilworth Road, or other lower league stadiums. We have the technology for the referee to be like, oh cool, we'll go check this. And the thing is, people kind of complain. They say that VAR would take too long if that was the case, right? If the ref had to go over to the monitor for every single decision, it would take too long. But it still takes long when they have a team of people in a room full of screens relaying what they think they see to the referee. It takes longer. It would just be so much easier if the say Chilwell would go up to Pochettino and say, I think that Gallagher challenge, I think that is a penalty. The referee goes over to the monitor, looks at a few angles, and then makes a decision. That does not take 6 minutes and doesn't add 7,000 minutes of added time at the end of every single game. And it's just depressing. We never had a chance in this game, and I don't want to ramble on too much. Let's focus on the positives, because we do have a few. So let's decide now. We have Nkunku, Petrovic, and Chukwuemeka. I'm gonna put a poll in chat. I've got to type it out. Why is it not letting me do this? Okay, well, there we go. I can't type my question. Okay, it's letting me do it now. That was weird. I'm going to put a poll in chat, and together as a community, we are going to decide who is the true blue of the game today. I've clicked start poll. I hope it's worked. There we go. Hopefully, has it worked? I think it's working. Yeah, okay, we're getting votes in. I don't know how long the poll is going to last. I think it can last as long as I want it to, so I'll let that run for a bit. I probably should have let that run at the you know what, because obviously this is the first episode of this, so I'll make things a bit smoother as we kind of do them. So what I'll probably do next time is that I will put the poll. What I'll try and do is like finish off the goods. I'll put the poll up, and then whilst I'm talking about the rest of the stuff, you guys can vote, and we can kind of see where we go. But I think the consensus at the moment is for Petrovic. So yeah, I will end the poll there because it looks quite decisive. So for today's True Blue, we will be putting in Georgi Petrovic up here in his own little box. I just kind of want to make the I kind of want the streams to be a bit more interactive, because I'm kind of terrible at being a streamer in a way, which is funny because I used to stream on Twitch. That used to be an actual thing that I used to do. You wouldn't think it, considering how terrible I am at doing this, but yes. In fact, now that I can actually make Nkunku bigger. There we go. There we are. But yeah, Petrovic is our true blue for today. I'm not going to brag on too much because it is very late over here. And as I said, if there's any suggestions for other things you want me to add to the stream, I'll try and do those as well. And we'll as we kind of go through this process together, we can add things, little sections and such, if you want that. But yeah, I'm not going to ramble on too much. I think I'll end the stream here. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I'll hit the outro and hope that the outro actually works, because I don't know if the first one has a hand cam. To be honest, the hand is the only thing that I've revealed of myself so far on this channel, so I could actually do that. You should see my hands. I talk like the Italian World Cup team. I'm constantly moving my hands around when I talk. I don't know if you can hear that in the camera, in my mic, of me wafting my hands around all the time, but that's how I talk. I'm a very the mug cam, yeah. You know what? I actually, saying that, I will take a sip of my coffee in my Chelsea mug that I've got here. Thanks for reminding me. And with that, we'll hit the outro. Thanks, guys, for hanging out as always. I'll be back for the next game, which is what is our next game? Hang on one second. I forget what our next game is. I feel like it's like Wolves. Is it Wolves? Yeah, it's Wolves. Okay. Wolves on Sunday the 4th, so the match preview for Wolves will be out on the Saturday, hopefully, which is in 3 days. So yeah, that will be out there. Hopefully we can get a result against Wolves, because last time we went against them, we got battered. Am I dropping match analysis? I don't think I'll have time. I might do like a small breakdown if I can find the time to do it, but in between now and those 3 days isn't really enough time for me to do that. It usually takes me, I will say, like on average, it usually takes me about 2 days with my other obligations that I have to do in life to get through one video. So if there's like 4 days between a game and another game, I can usually be like, okay, cool, I can do tactical breakdown in the first 2 days and then match preview in the second 2 days. But yeah, as I said, that'll be me. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Let's hit the outro and hope that this works. Peace.
But that was just my Feeling Blue match review for this week. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this match in the comment section below, and if you'd be so kind, subscribe to the channel and leave the video a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, or check out some of the other videos on the channel on screen right now. I've been Mono from MonoCFC, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on, you Blues.